Hello, I'm Megan Carter, and along with Bobby Albera, I am co-president of the League of Women Voters of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. On behalf of the League, I am pleased to welcome you to this candidate forum. Sponsored in partnership with the City of Murfreesboro, Middle Tennessee Lawyers Association of Women, and the Rutherford County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. This forum can be viewed on Murfreesboro City TV on Comcast Xfinity Channels 3 and 1094, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and YouTube. The League believes that televised and streamed candidate forums provide an excellent opportunity for voters to become more familiar with the candidates and their positions. If you agree, please express your opinion about the value of candidate forums to the individuals seeking your vote. In the upcoming August 1st election, cities of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County will be voting to elect local and state leaders. Early voting begins July 12th and runs through July 27th. If you have questions about voting, including obtaining an absentee ballot for the August 1st election, please go to the Rutherford County Election Commission webpage to learn more. The League seeks to conduct our forums in a nonpartisan manner. Key participants, especially the moderator, are never publicly aligned with any particular candidate or political party. We thank you for your attention as you hear these candidates introduce themselves and answer questions about pertinent issues facing the city of Murfreesboro. We hope you found this forum useful in deciding which candidates you choose to support. Your vote gives you a prime opportunity to influence how government is conducted in the city of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, and our State General Assembly. Thank you for joining us, and remember, your vote counts.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Post, and I will serve as moderator for this candidate forum. This forum is co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, Middle Tennessee Lawyers Association of Women, also known as MT Law, the Rutherford County Alumni Chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta DST sorority, and the City of Murfreesboro Communications Department. Please be advised that the League of Women Voters, MT Law, and the DST sorority are all nonpartisan organizations that study and take positions on issues and do not support, endorse, or oppose any candidate, party, or political appointee. It is my pleasure to welcome both our audience here at the Murfreesboro City Hall and our viewers at home to this program. This candidate forum involves asking a series of questions that were developed by the League of Women Voters and its co-sponsors with community input. This evening, we will be hearing remarks from the candidates for the City of Murfreesboro City Council elected at large seats. Before introducing the candidates, I would like to outline the procedure for tonight. Each candidate will be asked to make an opening statement in a 2-minute period. When all candidates have completed the opening statement, then several additional questions will be asked. Each candidate will be asked the same question. The candidates will respond to each of those questions with a 1-minute answer. The candidates will be allowed 2 minutes to answer the last question and make any closing remarks. There is a timekeeper to assist in keeping track with all of this. As a reminder, there will be no audience participation during the forum, and we ask for everyone's cooperation in providing a welcoming and impartial environment. And now, on to introducing, as well as hear from our candidates. First, I want to thank you all for coming tonight and accepting our invitation to participate in this event. Speaking first is Mr. Matt Harriman. You have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you. Good evening, audience, esteemed panel, and those watching online. My name is Matt Harriman, and I am profoundly grateful for the opportunity to share with you my vision for our beloved city. Raised right here in Tennessee, I have spent my career at the intersection of education policy, real estate, ministry, and community service, which has profoundly impacted how I see a community thriving. From my early days accompanying my grandfather in his real estate and auction business to my recent role in the governor's office alongside Governor Lee, through my time in ministry, I have always believed in the power of community and the importance of service. My campaign is built on the foundation of conservative Christian values where faith, family, community, and hard work are the cornerstones of success. Tonight, I'm excited to share with you the ABCs for Murfreesboro plan. Achieve in education, believe in public safety, and commit to infrastructure. This plan is designed to address our most pressing challenges while building upon the things that make our city so great. I'm here to ensure that Murfreesboro not only grows, but does so with integrity and respect to the values that we hold dear. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for setting up this forum, and I look forward to our conversation tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Kelly Northcutt?
Hello, I'm Kelly Northcutt. I've lived in Murfreesboro for 26 years. I'm an MTSU graduate. I fell in love with Murfreesboro while going to school here and moved back here to raise my 3 children. Part of the reason I fell in love with Murfreesboro, a lot of those reasons still exist in Murfreesboro. It's a beautiful medium-sized city. It's got wonderful parks. It's got high-rated schools. And at the time, it was a place I could afford a good home with a good yard to raise my kids. Murfreesboro's changed a lot in 26 years. Anybody that's been here more than 5 years can see that. The challenges that I hear, the issues that concern people when I'm out knocking doors and talking to people are the same challenges and issues that I have. Traffic, growth, our development, zoning, taxes, and the fact that housing has become unaffordable to renters and homeowners alike. I think everyone should have the opportunity to be able to afford to live here that wants to stay, and I think it's still a great place to raise your kids, but it's getting out of price for most families. I think that's something that the City Council can address. I think there are a lot of plans that we can use to make sure that we keep this an affordable, green place, and that's why I want to be your voice in the City Council.
Thank you. Mr. Bill Shacklett?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank City TV and the League of Women Voters for conducting this forum, and I also want to thank my other candidates for offering themselves for public service. I consider public service a high calling, that we all see things differently after offering ourselves for public service. But I also want to thank each of you viewers. You're seeking to become better informed voters, and better government begins with you, the voter. Thank you for watching, and I hope this discussion will help you make your decision. As for me, I'm a lifelong resident of Murfreesboro, educated in Murfreesboro City Schools, Rutherford County Schools, and MTSU, where I received a degree in urban planning, was commissioned in the Army Reserves at graduation. I've always tried to look for ways to contribute and better the place that has so richly blessed me and my family through the years. My motivation to run for our City Council again is simple. I deeply love our city, and I care about all of our citizens. And I sincerely want to join with each of you in making it an even better place to live. These are challenging times for families, businesses, and all levels of government. And I want to use my knowledge of our community, my experience of working out innovative solutions to difficult problems, and most importantly, the trust relationships that I've established over the year with all segments of our community, to inform our citizens with their government as together we make decisions affecting our future. With your support, we will continue to make the difference in our city and make a great city even better.
Thank you. Mr. Kurt Wade?
Thank you. I want to thank the Women League of Voters for having this today, but most of all, I want to thank you guys for coming and being a participant today, because it means a lot when we get feedback, not only feedback, but understanding of what we're doing to try to make our job better. As a two-term city councilman, what I've learned is this: we want to continue to manage growth here. We want to continue to make sure that this is a good place to live and work and play. And how I can do that is by three things. I've said this from day one as city councilman: continue to watch the growth in infrastructure, focus on our schools, and also continue to work on our emergency service, making sure our firemen and police are paid appropriately and they have the right tools to make our city better. And that's why I'm running for city council.
Thank you. Mr. Sean Wright?
Good evening. Thank you for the league and all their partners in throwing this forum, and thank you to my fellow candidates for opening up and sitting in these seats at this forum. I'm a lifelong resident of Murfreesboro, and my family goes back 7 generations in the area. I love where Murfreesboro's been, I love where Murfreesboro's at, and I'm excited for Murfreesboro's future. I ran 4 years ago because Murfreesboro had been so good to my family, and it was a way of giving back. We've done great work the past 4 years. We've spent over $100 million on city infrastructure as far as roads. We've worked on trash alternatives, and we've made an effort to recruit and retain public safety people to make sure we have the best of the best of the best as public safety. So when you have a crisis, there's somebody that is the best coming to you to help you. My family, I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We have 4 loving boys. I went to Murfreesboro City Schools, K through 8, Oakland High School for high school, Middle Tennessee State for an undergraduate in business administration. I've got a master's in business administration with a finance concentration from the University of Memphis, and I have a couple of postmaster certifications from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. I feel that my education plus my experience makes me a great candidate to serve for re-election to the Murfreesboro City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now turn to the questions. You will have 1 minute to answer these questions. The first to answer is Ms. Northcutt. Why are you running for City Council?
I've always felt compelled to give back to my community. I've served with a lot of community organizations, and even in my work life, I always strive to make it a better place for people and businesses. The reason that I want to serve is because I value the entire community. I think our diversity is our strength, and I think we need to focus on that. But the reason I felt compelled to run for City Council was the decency ordinance that was passed last year, that even if it wasn't the intention, it lacked foresight, and it made an entire vulnerable population that's part of our city feel attacked and unwanted. Was that time? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Shacklett?
I think what it just reminded me again of how important it is to have communication between the government and the people it serves. And I value that role, and that's been my commitment since I first ran in 2002 for City Council, is to better connect those people that the government's attempting to serve with them, to be their voice, but also to be the voice of government to help them understand the process and how decisions are arrived, and to have access to different points of view. The good thing about this role for me has been that I feel like I welcome different ideas, even if I don't agree with them. And so I think the reason I'm running is so that I can continue that position of being that advocate for the public, but also to help the people understand what government is doing, why those decisions are reached.
Thank you. Mr. Wade?
Thank you. The reason I'm running is just like I stated before. I want to continue with the growth that we've managed here, and it's managed growth, managing our growth and still making Murfreesboro a great place to live, and really focusing on what makes Murfreesboro a good place to live, bringing good quality jobs here. Just like Ms. Northcutt said, everybody wants affordable housing, but we all have to work together to make sure we achieve affordable housing. Affordable housing just doesn't come just because we want affordable housing. Affordable housing has to have work from state and local government working together.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
I'm running for re-election to represent the people. The people of Murfreesboro are the greatest asset of this city, and they deserve to have people that will listen to them. And I've served with some great individuals the past 4 years that make it a point to listen to the citizens. It takes a village. We all have to sit down. We may not always agree, but we've all got to sit down and communicate and talk through our points. Sometimes it's not two stubborn sides that can just get together and figure out what's really going on. And that's where I think I serve well. I always communicate. I'm always willing to sit down with anyone, no matter if I agree with how they stand or not, because we all tend to learn from each other. And that's why I'm serving, because the people of the Murfreesboro are the greatest part of it, and I want to be there to help them.
Thank you. Mr. Harriman?
I'm running because I want to serve as a way to give back to my community. I think my background in state government, real estate, and in ministry uniquely equips me to serve our city well. And I think from a lot of those opportunities that I've had over the past, it has allowed me to be a problem solver. And I think that's what we need on the city council, is people who can roll up their sleeves and solve problems. And I believe I have the skill set to do that.
Thank you. Now we will move on to question number 2. Also, I want to let you guys know, if you need me to repeat the question in between your answers, just let me know. In your opinion, what are the biggest challenges facing the city of Murfreesboro, and do you think those concerns align with the opinions of your constituents? Mr. Shackley.
Me, that's what I was thinking. It was me. Well, it's a good question, because I think, identifying what is important is a key role of the city council. And we do that through our budget, but this is one of those questions that's a minute that takes a lot longer to explain. But quite honestly, I think everything related to growth, and that doesn't mean just numbers of people, but the infrastructure, the roads, the schools, all the things that growth impacts. Those are very important things that we need to deal with. But our employees, particularly our first responders, and we're addressing that with police and fire and their new pay scale for the police department, and looking at that with our fire department as well. But then the key point that's been a part of my heart is to engage the public in a better way. It's always our move as the government to try to be more effective in engaging and involving the people in the decision-making process, and we can do better.
Thank you. Mr. Wade?
Thank you. I think growth, just like we keep saying, education and emergency service. Those are the 3 things I had as my top priorities as for my campaign. Growth, managing growth, making sure if we grow in the right way, making sure when we have new apartments, whatever new business come in, they're in the appropriate part of our city. And education, making sure that all our kids being educated in the right way. I know we've got a movement now with charter schools, but we want to make sure that our public schools are taken care of. And to do that, we got to make sure the money is divided in the right allocation for all.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. In your opinion, what are the biggest challenges facing the city of Murfreesboro, and do you think those concerns align with the opinions of your constituents?
Thank you. I think the greatest challenges we have, like my 2 counterparts have said, infrastructure is a major concern, whether it be roads, schools, waste management. I remember back in the day when you could drive from one side of Murfreesboro to the other side of Murfreesboro in 10 to 12 minutes. When's the last time anybody in the crowd's able to do that? Well, we've spent $100 million on roads. We've gave seed money to the state to expand Old Fort Parkway, Highway 99. Medical Center Parkway's been expanded. We've approved expansion of Highway 96 as well. And we've come up with a waste solution that's 90% green. Those are major concerns that we all should be looking at, and we all have looked at. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harriman?
I'm not going to say anything different than these guys much, but it is the challenges that come with growth that are our biggest challenge. That with that growth comes challenges to infrastructure, challenges to public safety, challenges to parks and rec, and so I think being able to come together and look at solutions on how to do that, I think is something that we can do together.
Thank you. Ms. Northcutt?
I mean, I think the challenges have been pretty well spelled out. I think the growth, the infrastructure, the impact that has. But I think we need to keep in mind not just the impact that has on city services, but the impact that growth and infrastructure challenges our residents. I'm very sure that my opinions on that align with people, because that's what I've been hearing from everyone that I've been talking to in running for office. I knock on a door. A lot of people, their first issue is traffic. Not just how it impacts on the major thoroughfares and I-24, but in their neighborhoods. We need to keep this a walkable, livable, bikeable city so people can actually have the quality of life that we all enjoy now.
Thank you. On to our next question. We'll start with Mr. Wade. How should the Murfreesboro City Council determine its priorities if all of its goals cannot be reached?
I think as sitting on the council for my last two terms, basically what we've done is we had different city council sessions, and we sit down and we worked on what was best for Murfreesboro, and we took the short list and measured that out, and we came up with a solution, and we had a top 5 list, and that's how we've always decided on what's best for Murfreesboro, and determining as we continue to make Murfreesboro a great place to live and work and play. And as a council person, I think that's the way it should be done. You have 6 council people and a mayor working together for one common goal, and I think we've done a really good job of that.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
As we determine what needs to be done, we need to listen to the voters. We need to listen to the people who live here. They're going to tell us what needs done in our community. We are just 7 people sitting up here that we have an idea, but we live in certain areas of town. We maybe live in 6 different areas of town or 7 different areas of town. So we need to hear from the people and what the people desire. That way we can break down what's important to our voters and what's important that needs to get done. And I think that's how we need to handle things when we can't get everything accomplished.
Thank you. Mr. Harriman?
Yeah, I think it's looking at I think of businesses. A lot of businesses have strategic plans. So what's the city's strategic plan? And then break that down into short-term goals and long-term goals. But most importantly, what are the community needs? I mean, Sean hit on it. We're 7 people sitting up here, and we don't always have the right answers. So I think it's getting input from industry leaders. I think it's getting input from community leaders, and ultimately the people who live here, and what's best for them. We may not always know if we don't hear from them. And so I think a really important piece of this question is understanding what the people want.
Thank you. Ms. Northcutt?
I think that there are several things that will help us prioritize needs if we can't meet all of them. A lot of it comes down to needs and wants. There are things that will have to be addressed, infrastructure and solid waste management. And I think that the input of our constituents is vital. But I think that we also need to be proactive in reaching out to certain groups so that no one's overlooked as we establish the priorities of filling those needs.
Thank you. Mr. Shacklett?
This is one of the more intriguing questions that were proposed for this evening. And so I looked into it a little bit. How would we determine what is important in our personal lives? We look at our pocketbook. How are we spending our money? For the city of Murfreesboro, we have a $363 million budget. A third of that is in salaries and benefits. So it's a service-oriented organization that spends its money on people. So I think that's kind of says people are important and how they do that. And the other thing is our CIP, our capital improvement plan. A 5-year capital improvement has in the 5-year plan, 72% of that is on highway, are dedicated to highways, traffic, and our infrastructure. So 72% is pretty high. So I think we're putting our money where we feel like those are the two important part that we need to be spending, and I think those are priorities. Our traffic, which has been spoke. So anyway, that's what I think is important.
Thank you. Our next question, we'll start with Mr. Wright. You have mentioned several challenges in Murfreesboro. If elected, how would you address those issues?
I think in the last 4 years, we've shown that, or I've shown that I like to push to fix the challenges that the people of Murfreesboro desire to be fixed. Infrastructure, public safety, schools, a lessening of a better mix of housing. I keep hearing over and over and over again, we have too many apartments. Well, we've done a good job of the past 4 years on limiting the approval of those apartments. Like we've said, $100 million on road projects the past 4 years, 72% of our CIP on roads. We build schools when when schools are needed to be built. Instead of putting portables in schools, we build schools on demand. So we've made a great concerted effort to get in front of the problems before they become a problem, and that's how I want to continue to do those things.
Thank you. Mr. Harriman?
Mind repeating the question, please?
Absolutely. You've mentioned several challenges in Murfreesboro. If elected, how would you address those issues?
Again, I think it's a concerted effort amongst a group of people. You know, it involves staff, it involves other council members, mayor, city manager. I mean, there's a lot of decision makers and folks that are involved in that decision-making process, along with, again, community input and what that looks like. I think, you know, there's several things that are coming down the pike that I think we're going to have to deal with around growth, and one of those has been alluded to around schools. So last tax raise we had was, I think, back in 2018 to build a school, and so it could be coming time where we have to start looking at innovative ways to not have to raise taxes on our citizens and what that might look like.
Thank you. Ms. Northcutt?
Could you repeat the question?
Yes. You mentioned several challenges in Murfreesboro. If elected, how would you address those issues?
As Mr. Shacklett said, the budget that we're spending on traffic reflects that is a large need. I think the problem that I would address first, because we seem to have a good handle on the traffic and development, would be how to pay for our infrastructure improvements and still work on affordable housing. That's a big impact on people's lives and livelihood. More apartments are actually needed to keep the supply and demand so that the cost doesn't keep raising because the supply is limited. There are a number of state programs that we can take advantage of, land banks and low percentage interest rates for developers, that will allow us to encourage higher density housing that doesn't negatively impact our neighborhoods, but that will address that issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shacklett?
I'm going to introduce a phrase, politics not as usual. I would like to see Murfreesboro be a community where people and government interact in a more healthy way, that we don't stay in our silos and associate with people. I think the answers to all the problems we have, I don't know what the problems in the future are going to be, but I think the resources and the human power to address them effectively are in our community, but we have to learn to function better. It's been dysfunctional. We've all been frustrated by the politics as usual, and we're still facing that. But we can do better, and I think that's what our challenge is for me. As we look at these problems that we face in the future, how are we going to do a better job of communicating respectfully with each other and working together to find a common way forward? And if we do that, we'll be the community that we want it to be for our children and for our grandchildren.
That's time. Thank you. Mr. Wade?
I think one of the biggest problems that faces Murfreesboro, and I think everybody would agree with me, is traffic. We get more complaints and calls about traffic than anything around. But half of the problem is this. We have to learn to work. The state and local government have to learn to work together. Everybody complains about Thompson Lane. Everybody complains about 231, Highway 99. Those are state roads. Those are not city roads. And if we can get the state to work with us on those roads and get those roads to be widening as fast as our city's growing, traffic would be a lot better. And as we continue to work on Cherry Lane, widening Cherry Lane around the 24, we're trying to work on ways to make our city better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to our next question that will begin with Mr. Harriman. What do you see as the role of the city government in meeting the needs of the increasingly diverse population of the city of Murfreesboro?
So I think the role of government, first and foremost, is to provide essential services, ensure public safety that benefits all people. I believe government should facilitate opportunities for everyone, ensuring equal treatment and fairness. City government should be focused on accessibility and effective public services that maintain streets, that's funding schools properly, and a robust local economy. I think those are, the key functions of a city government.
Thank you. Ms. Northcutt?
I think many of the needs of the city are the same for all of its residents. And because of that, those are the things that we need to address, just to be a functioning city government. To meet the needs of a diverse community, we have to be in communication with diverse communities and make them not only allow them to speak to us at council meetings, but actually be heard. We need to make sure that we're proactively reaching out. We need to make sure that we are accessible so that you can email me with a problem and know that you'll be heard and it will be addressed.
Thank you. Mr. Shacklet?
Yeah, I think that's the key, is communication. I mean, we are human beings, and if we don't communicate effectively, then nothing happens, nothing changes. So I think for you to understand, first you have to be able to find effective communication. So I think it's always incumbent upon us as your government, or those representing you, to be aggressive in going into those diverse communities, to hear and listen first, to learn and be intentional about the process of learning, to understand and have empathy for those other people that are different than you, that may have a different position or a different ideology than you, to care about understanding. And then I think we can be aggressive in doing and meeting their needs where we can. And that should be the role of government, and it should always incumbent on us to take that initiative and to use that initiative.
Thank you. Mr. Wade?
When we talk about diverse community, you're talking about all of Murfreesboro, and it affects all of us. And I think what Mr. Shacklet has said is communicate, learn how to communicate with all people in all segments of this city. And I think when I had the opportunity to rename Mercury Boulevard to Dr. Martin Luther King, my council members, they didn't reject, they just said this is a great avenue to name it Dr. Martin Luther King. That's where, when we talk about diversity, everybody working together. And that's what we did as a council. And I think as we continue to grow, you'll see more of us working together.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
There's no I in team, and the best way to handle a diverse community is to work together. You can't do it all alone, and that diverse community can't do it all alone. We have to work together as a team. We have students at schools that need English learners to help them communicate with their teachers so they can learn. As the husband of a teacher, that's a problem in our school system currently. We have to be able to communicate with our students because our students are our future. With the diverse community that we've had come about, we have to be able to, a two-way street of communication. They need to be able to communicate with us, and we need to communicate with them where they are, not just where we are.
Thank you. Moving on to our next question that will start with Ms. Northcutt. If elected, how do you plan to address the current infrastructure issues in Murfreesboro?
First, we need to look at the budget. We need to see what we can afford to address. We also need to make sure that as we continue to grow, that that's something we continue to plan for. We need smart growth. We need to make sure that we have developmental impact fees that we can take advantage of, and those really don't have very much as much impact on the housing price as a lot of people would assume. But we need to make sure that we have a long-range plan and that we all agree on where that money needs to go in order to make sure that we have all the services we need for our growing community.
Thank you. Mr. Shacklett?
Restate the question, please.
Absolutely. If elected, how do you plan to address the current infrastructure needs of Murfreesboro?
Well, it's like it's like going to the doctor. What's the first thing is to take your temperature and figure out what's going on, and we've done that. I think our departments have done a good job of identifying that. But the problem in our area is it's not just growth; it's how fast the growth has occurred. You know, we're always behind the curve. I mean, as long as I've been involved in city government, it seems like we're always behind the curve. So the issue is trying to, catch up with the rabbit. And I think we do a pretty good job of that, but we can do better. We always need to do better, and I think part of that is as we establish what is those priorities to get that input from the public, and I think that's about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Wade?
Thank you. I think half of it is, just like I've stated before, is traffic. Working on our traffic issues, working with the state on getting some of these roads riding as fast as we're going, just like Mr. Shacklett said. We spent $100 million on roads. We've got to continue to work on better infrastructure. If we've got better roads and better access to getting around our city, it makes our city a lot easier. And I think as we continue to do that, it makes our city a lot better.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
Thank you. Ms. Northcutt brought up impact fees. I was the council member who pushed for impact fees and got them passed last year. That cost to help development in those buckets of parks, public safety, roads, and schools helps pay for our growth. It's not a full recovery, but it helps pay for our growth. We also have the city smart traffic program. There's a bunch of TVs upstairs in a traffic room that keeps a handle on where the traffic is, where the traffic's moving, and where it's going, so we can align traffic lights and move the traffic in a way to push traffic in a way where it flows better. Like we've all said, traffic is an issue, and we've been working on it for 4 years, and we're going to continue to work on it. It's one of those issues that doesn't get fixed until the orange barrels come off the ground. So let's get those orange barrels off the ground.
Thank you. Mr. Harriman?
There's been obviously been a lot of discussion about the state. I mean, 5 of our main roads, Memorial Boulevard, New Salem Highway, Highway 99, Thompson Lane, Broad Street, all of those roads are state roads. I don't know that there's anyone better positioned on this panel or on the council to deal with that. I obviously worked in the governor's office, worked alongside now Commissioner Butch Ely, who is the commissioner of TDOT. Call him a friend, obviously proud to be endorsed by Governor Lee. And I think those relationships matter. I think those matter a lot when we want to get Murfreesboro up on the priority list of expediting some of those projects.
Thank you. On to our next question. And this will begin with Mr. Shacklett. How do you think the city council should provide for growth within Murfreesboro while still maintaining a high quality of life for current residents, specifically addressing rising housing costs?
Well, and yeah, the issue of affordability in our community is a complicated issue. There's many challenges, and some of it is related to that income has not gone at the same rate as housing costs, what it costs to build a home. So you've got to get people together. All the stakeholders need to be together, and we need to bring our business community, realtors and developers, but not just them, our government, our city, come together and begin to strategize over it, because it's not a simple question. It's going to require a multifaceted approach to affordable housing. We've got a couple of good examples. Our Murfreesboro Housing Authority over at Oaklands did a great job, and it's a beautiful place. And so did Habitat for Humanity, did a great job at Lexi Point. And the government has been a part of both of those projects, but it's not enough. Legacy Point has got 77 homes going to be built, and I think, there's more to be done with addressing affordable housing.
Thank you.
Just like Mr. Shacklet said, there's got to be more communication with council, staff, government, working together, especially when you're talking about developers. Density is an issue. We've got to allow more density for more houses to be built. That helps the developer, and it also helps the prices of those houses that they're building. And if you look at Nashville, you look at any city that's growing, they're allowing a lot more density, and I think as Murfreesboro continue to grow, we're going to have to allow more density to get a quality housing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wright?
Well, it's like Mr. Shacklet said, it's a multifaceted approach. I can't say that word.
Surprised I got it out.
So we have to get income up as well as the affordable housing. We have to work with the TVA, with the Chamber of Commerce, with the state of Tennessee. We have to bring those high-paying blue-collar jobs and white-collar jobs to Murfreesboro. With the cost to build a house nowadays, you can't make them cheaper. The land's high, the inputs are high, the labor's high, everything's high. So how do you make that new construction house cheaper when everything that goes into it's more expensive? So we got to get the wages up to match what those houses cost. And that's how we got to work. We got to work to bring good paying jobs here. Everybody looks at Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's starting pay is $20 an hour for a gas station attendant. We need more jobs with higher pay.
Thank you. Mr. Harriman?
I definitely think it starts with higher paying jobs. It is, as the others have said, there really is no silver bullet approach to affordable housing. It's a really complex problem that involves the federal government, the state government, business leaders, community leaders, elected leaders, developers. There's approaches that we need to communicate as well with all of those people to ensure that we are doing our part as far as what the council can do in that larger bucket, if you will.
Thank you. Ms. Northcutt?
I think that a lot of the approaches to affordable housing lies with higher density housing. I think it is very much a supply and demand issue. We need to make sure that we're building enough units to keep up with the pace. The housing development agency, the Murfreesboro Housing Agency projects that Mr. Shacklet mentioned are a good start, but there's a waiting list for those homes that's always been way too long, and we need to increase the wages. We're in a wonderful opportunity where we are, that we have a 4-year college, we have 2-year colleges, and we have a TCAT. We can train people for high-tech jobs. We can attract industries that will have high-paying jobs and that can elevate everyone, because a rising tide lifts all boats. If we attract and train for those kind of high-tech jobs, we can plan for better wages in the future.
Thank you. On to our next question that will start with Mr. Wade. If elected, what would your funding priorities be for the city budget?
I think that goes back to growth in infrastructure, and it goes back to education and emergency service, and that's what I've been preaching on, and that's one of the 3 things I've talked about. With growth, we've talked about roads, and I think we've done a good job of trying to maintain our roads and manage our roads. We spent $100 million. Education, we have been on Johnny on the spot and building schools. But there's going to be a day coming pretty soon. We're going to have to build another school. Do we build it? Where did we build it? Where do we get the land to build it? And so that's some of the things that we're have to focus on. And just as of now, we're focused on better pay for our police department and fire department. And so those are things that we're focusing on and we'll continue to focus on.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
I think Mr. Wade hit it on the head. First of all, we've got to continue spending money on roads and infrastructure. We've spent $100 million on roads the past 4 years. We may have to spend another $100 million the next 4 years. We have to recruit, retain, and keep our public safety people happy, not just fire, police, EMTs, and 911 dispatchers. We have to make sure all those people are well paid. You want to make sure that when you call that phone number that there's somebody to respond to your house in the time of an emergency. So we have to make sure our people are well paid. And then schools. We build schools on demand when we need one. We know for a fact in the next 4 years, we're going to have to build a school. So that's going to be a $60 million budgetary item that we're going to have to spend. So that's the three things I think we're going to have to address. Continued spend on roads, continued spend on public safety, and a new school.
Thank you. Mr. Harriman?
I mentioned earlier the ABCs for Murfreesboro, which I know is a little corny, but achieving an education, believing in public safety, and committing to infrastructure. Those three things I think with every question that's been asked, we've come back to those three things, and those three things are going to continue to be matters that we deal with as council members and leaders in the community.
Thank you. Ms. Northcutt?
I think, our priorities are the needs, the infrastructure, the emergency responders, but we also have to make sure that we continue to maintain funding for our parks, our greenways, our public schools, keeping our public dollars there, and the arts. Those are the things that contribute to quality of life, besides making sure that people aren't speeding down your neighborhood street. And those have to be a priority as well, to make sure that we not only make sure the city functions well, but that it's a good place to live and raise your kids.
Thank you. Mr. Shacklet?
In a service-oriented business like what government is, the most important thing is the people and to take care of your people. And I think focusing, like we've said, on take retention and in recruitment. Quite honestly, I'm the council's representative on the school board, and it's first responders, but it's almost an arms race with teachers now in different districts. That we're all fighting for the same piece of the pie. So we've got to take care of our people first. And then this other thing, we can focus on the services that we're providing, even the infrastructure. We need to do that as well, but focus on our people first, and I think the other things come second. But engaging our public and helping us set those priorities is a big part of this too. And if we do a more effective job of allowing them into the process of the deliberative process and helping us make those decisions, we'll make better decisions as to setting those priorities going forward.
Thank you. On to our next question. That will begin with Mr. Wright. There's been a common theme tonight in communicating with your constituents. So how do you plan to engage with community and incorporate concerns of Murfreesboro residents into your decision-making process as a city council member?
I've made sure the last 4 years that I've been very attainable and reachable in my service to the city. I always respond to emails. I always respond to phone calls. I go to community events. I go to neighborhoods when there's a concern in a neighborhood, where there's a project coming forward. I go to public neighborhood meetings when a new project's coming forward and the neighborhoods are just discussing it. I want to make sure I hear what the neighbors are discussing it there before they ever get in front of Planning Commission or City Council. I want to make sure that I'm always a phone call away, an email away, or even just a drop by the neighborhood away from hearing concerns, whether it be flooding in a neighborhood, traffic in a neighborhood, or there's a new concert venue going across the street. How is that sound going to affect my neighborhood? I want to make sure I'm there to hear what the concerns of the citizens are.
Thank you. Mr. Harriman?
I think it starts obviously with accessibility, just being accessible. And I think there's a lot of ways Sean touched on, most all of them that you could, being at neighborhood meetings, being accessible by email, phone, social media. The blessing and the curse of technology is everybody is, for the most part, pretty easy to reach. And so, but I think just because you can reach out easily, I want to commit to folks that I will be responsive, and so that they feel like they've been heard.
Thank you. Ms. Northcutt?
I think continuing to reach out to people to make sure that I am available by phone, email, social media, and also committing to replying to those so that everyone knows that their message has gotten through, asking what the problems are, and proactively reaching out to community organizations, especially in our diverse community, to make sure that I'm still in touch with the community organizations that I've been volunteering for, that I'm still a part of, to make sure that if there's an issue that arises, we can address it before it gets to be a big problem. And we're in touch with what's going on in the neighborhoods and with our diverse community.
Thank you. Mr. Shacklet?
One of the most important things that I think and most rewarding things I've enjoyed on being on city council is engaging the public, whether it be in their homes, in the front of my studio, on the street, at an event or something, and having conversation. They're not always positive because we don't always agree, but I enjoy that process. I enjoy the process of helping people understand and helping me understand. It's beneficial to me, I think, as I bring their opinions to the deliberative process. Because when I hear your opinion, I begin to understand how you're seeing things a little bit better. We've got to do more of that. I think that we need to be more, to be drawn to that. It helps us be better representatives of the people. Doesn't mean that we'll always agree, because I think we're voted in to represent our own opinions, not necessarily. There's no way to understand what is the opinion of the public. But listening to the public is extremely important.
Thank you. Mr. Wade?
Thank you. I think continue to engage our community. Just like Sean said, we attend neighborhood meetings. We go to different organizations, different meetings that we have to attend. We all sit on different boards that we have to attend. But, you know, one of the things that we did about a year and a half ago, we did town hall meetings. And I think that's a great way to communicate with people. You know, our numbers are listed on the website, so we're accessible, but I think we can do more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have reached our last question of the night. You will have 2 minutes to answer this question and include any closing remarks that you would like to include. This question will start with Mr. Harriman. We've done a lot of talking about what is going wrong in our city, what our challenges are. So I'd like to hear from you what you think Murfreesboro's greatest strengths are and how you intend to keep the status quo of those strengths while also addressing the challenges.
That's a lot for 2 minutes. With my closing remarks, I think the great thing about Murfreesboro is we are literally the heart of Tennessee. We are literally the geographical center of the state, and I think that's honestly one of our greatest strengths because you know, we've got I-80, we've got I-24. And coming from a guy who grew up in rural West Tennessee, I know what it's like to not live near those major roadways and how that impacts economic development. So I've seen both sides of that coin. But thank you guys, for those that are here, for being here tonight. Thank you to those watching online. I know there's a baseball game going on that some may want to get home and watch, and so I'm excited for those that participated in this debate, in this forum. I want to humbly ask you for your vote. Obviously, they mentioned July 12th through the 27th is early voting, and I'd be deeply honored to have your vote on August 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Northcutt?
There's a lot that's good about Murfreesboro. I think it's kind of hard to narrow it down to the 3 greatest things about our city. I think that our diversity is a huge part of what makes us a welcoming, engaging city. I think that our natural beauty, Tennessee's a beautiful state, and Murfreesboro is just a beautiful place to live. I think protecting our greenways, making sure that we still have the quality of life, and I think opportunity. We have good jobs, we have great schools, and I think everybody should be afforded the same opportunities to grow and develop along with the city growing and developing. I love the city. I want to make sure that we maintain what's best about it and fix what is a challenge. I'd be honored to have your vote. A lot of the reason that I love this city is because of its diversity. That's why I chose the neighborhood I chose. And I think we need to make sure that no one feels unheard, that no one feels unwelcome, and it's kind of personal for me as well. The decency ordinance was difficult for the LGBTQ community. My son is part of that community and no longer felt welcomed in the only home they'd ever known. So they moved out of state. And that hurts, that your hometown doesn't feel welcoming. And besides the lack of foresight in passing that was unconstitutional, I think we need to make sure we're welcoming to all.
Thank you. Mr. Shacklet?
I am reminded almost every day of the greatest resource we have in our community, and that's our people. We have compassionate, generous people, serve on several boards and with several different projects that have happened in our community, and our people are our greatest resource. Again, my motivation to run for city council is pretty simple. I love this community. My family has been committed to service to others for generations. I sincerely want to join with each of you in making it an even better place. I'm ready, willing, and able to serve as your city councilman for another term. With your support, we can continue to make a difference. As a voter, the city's future is in your hands. Please remember and encourage others in your sphere of influence to vote, because it's not only your right, it's your responsibility. Election day is August the 1st, but early voting is July the 12th through the 27th. I'm Bill Shacklet, and I'm asking for your vote to be your city councilman again.
Thank you. Mr. Wade?
Bill stole my answer. I know he looked on my paper because I said, I've got people right here as my greatest strength. So I just want to let everybody know Bill stole my answer. But I am going to say people is our greatest strength, because we have a great city that we lived in. Everybody likes Murfreesboro. People are moving to Murfreesboro because there's a reason. It's a great place to live. We want to continue to make Murfreesboro a great place to live, work, and play. And I think we've done that in the past 2 terms that I've served. And as we continue to manage growth and manage making sure that it grows moderately, but it grows effectively, I think I'm the person to do that. I want to continue to do what we've done in the past, is make Murfreesboro a great place, and I'm asking for your vote.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
They both stole my answer. As I said earlier, I've always said people are our greatest asset, and I want to continue to communicate with those people, work as a team, move our community forward, work on our things that we need, infrastructure, schools, public safety, but let's work at it as a team. I humbly ask for your vote. My name is Sean Wright. I would also like to serve for another 4 years. July 12th to the 27th is early voting. Voting day is August the 1st. You get 3 votes for city council, and I would ask to be one of them. My name is Sean Wright. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our round of questioning for tonight. Once again, on behalf of the League of Women Voters, the Middle Tennessee Lawyers Association of Women, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, and the City of Murfreesboro, I want to thank you all for your participation in today. I also want to thank Mr. Alan Bozeman, City of Murfreesboro Communications Director, Mr. Mike Browning, City of Murfreesboro Public Information Officer, and Mr. Steve Burris, the City of Murfreesboro Multimedia Producer, for their help in both promoting and presenting this program on the various City of Murfreesboro TV channels and other media websites. I want to encourage all of Murfreesboro, if you're eligible to vote. Registration the deadline for registration is July 2nd. Early voting begins July 12th and goes through July 27th. You may early vote at any of the early voting locations. On Election Day, which is August 1st, you will be able to vote at any of the voting centers located throughout Rutherford County. To find out which location will best suit you, or if you're interested in voting by absentee ballot, please visit the Rutherford County Election Commission at election.rutherfordcountytennessee.org or .gov, excuse me, or feel free to view the LWV Vote 411 Voters Guide. Please exercise this important right to determine who else will serve on the City of Murfreesboro's City Council. Remember, your vote counts. So may we close with a round of applause for our candidates.